when I ran out of food, and I've literally tracked wolves and taken food away from them when they've killed caribou.
Some wolves are known for their ruthless hunting instincts, tearing their prey apart with precision and ferocity.
How many wolves were there?
One time there was a lone wolf that got a caribou just ahead of me. He didn't have time to do anything except gut it for me.
On the other hand, there are surprising stories of wolves showing a softer side, even cuddling up with humans in rare, unexpected moments of connection. Whether you see them as fearsome predators or misunderstood animals, your opinion about wolves is about to become crystal clear. Join us as we dive into the untold stories of these apex predators. A Summer with Wolves. Donnie Vincent, a skilled hunter and filmmaker, has always pushed the boundaries of adventure. His extraordinary experiences in the wilderness, particularly his time spent with wolves in Alaska, showcase his deep respect for the animals he encounters. One of the most unforgettable moments of his career came during a summer when he lived with a pack of wolves as part of a research project for the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service. While fishing along a quiet river, Donnie had an eerie feeling that he was being watched. When he looked behind him, there it was, a wolf's face peering at him from the thick alder bushes. The wolf, a female, was only about 10 yards away. Surprisingly calm, Donnie greeted her casually and continued fishing, hoping to let her know he wasn't a threat. To his amazement, the wolf came closer, walking behind him, as if just observing. Whenever he made eye contact, the wolf would snarl and growl, but when he turned his back, she seemed content to follow from a distance. The next day, Donnie heard the wolf howling downriver, and in a moment of playful curiosity, howled back. Instantly, the wolf answered. She was now sitting on a sandbar, staring at him with a mix of curiosity and caution. This unusual interaction grew stronger over time. Donnie spent the summer surrounded by this wolf and her pack, gaining first-hand insight into the behavior of these fascinating creatures. He began to feel a deep connection with them, realizing that these wolves weren't just predators, but sentient beings with complex emotions and social structures. As the days passed, the wolves' presence became a regular part of Donnie's routine. They followed him during hikes, hanging back just far enough to observe. They were always near, watching and waiting. Despite having a gun with him for safety, Donnie felt no fear. He understood that these wolves weren't a danger, but rather a part of the environment he was immersed in. His understanding of wolves deepened, leading him to reflect on the relationship humans once had with these animals. In fact, he believed that the bond between wolves and humans in ancient times was built on similar curiosity and respect. One night, Donnie was awakened by the howl of an alpha wolf right outside his tent. It was a moment of intense connection. Despite the intimidating sound, Donnie felt no need to respond with fear. He knew that the wolf's intentions weren't hostile, but rather a reminder of the wild's untamed beauty and unpredictability. The next morning, the alpha wolf was still there, calmly observing Donnie from a distance. Through his time with the wolves, Donnie grew more attuned to their behavior. He began to notice their subtle body language, how they moved, how they interacted with each other, and how they interacted with him. It was a humbling experience that reshaped his perspective on wildlife conservation. Donnie's respect for the wolves and their pack mentality was evident in his actions. Although he carried a wolf tag with him, he never had the desire to hunt one. The idea of killing a wolf, an animal with whom he had shared so many moments, felt wrong. Donnie Vincent's time with wolves revealed a world of quiet observation and unspoken respect, but not every encounter with these animals unfolds with such eerie harmony. An unforgettable wolf encounter. Glenn Villeneuve, an experienced hunter and fisherman, always believed he had wolves figured out. He thought they were naturally afraid of humans, shy creatures that avoided confrontation. His confidence wasn't without reason. Once, he'd even stolen a caribou carcass from a pack of wolves. They had watched from a distance, their glowing eyes fixed on him, but they hadn't dared to approach. To Glenn, wolves were fascinating, but predictable. That belief held strong until one bitterly cold January day in the remote Arctic, when everything he thought he knew about them was turned upside down. It was the middle of winter, the kind of cold that seeped into your bones. Glenn was alone at his cabin, perched on a ridge overlooking a frozen lake. Twilight was settling in, casting long shadows across the snowy expanse, when something unusual caught his eye. About 500 yards from his cabin, there was a large brown spot on the ice. At first, he thought it was water that had seeped through a crack, but when he grabbed his binoculars, his stomach flipped. What he saw sent a chill down his spine. A massive pack of wolves, at least 20 strong, was tearing into something on the ice. Wolves usually travel in small groups of 5 or 6 in that region. The harsh conditions made it difficult for larger packs to survive. Food was scarce, and big numbers meant more mouths to feed. Glenn had heard of a 17-wolf pack spotted back in the 1970s, but that was considered an anomaly. 20 wolves together in one place? That was unheard of. He stared, thrilled by the sheer size and intensity of the pack. He couldn't make out what animal they had brought down, but he could hear the sounds. The crunch of bones and low growls carried through the frigid air. Excited by the rare opportunity, Glenn grabbed his camera and tripod. The snow was light that year, just a few inches deep, so he could move quickly across the lake. Within 20 minutes, he was about 350 yards from the pack. It was a sight he'd never forget. Wolves with their muzzles stained red, ripping into their prey, their breath creating little clouds in the freezing air. He carefully set up his camera and started taking photos, eager to document such an extraordinary moment. It felt like witnessing raw, untamed nature up close. Glenn was so focused that he didn't notice his camera battery draining. When the camera abruptly shut off, he cursed under his breath and decided to head back to the cabin to grab fresh batteries. It was only about 150 yards away, a short walk. He turned and started back, thinking of the incredible story he'd have to tell later. Then, something made him glance over his shoulder. What he saw nearly stopped his heart. The entire pack of wolves was charging toward him across the ice. Glenn froze for a split second, disbelief flooding his mind. Wolves weren't supposed to act this way. They were supposed to avoid humans, not hunt them. But there they were, 20 wolves moving as one, closing the distance with terrifying speed. Panic surged through him. Glenn dropped everything and sprinted toward the cabin. 30 yards to the door felt like an eternity, his boots slipping on the icy surface, his breath coming in desperate gasps. Finally, he reached the cabin, yanked the door open, and slammed it shut behind him. He locked it and turned to look out the window, his chest heaving as adrenaline coursed through him. The wolves didn't stop. They came right up to his yard, just 50 yards from his front door. Glenn watched in awe and fear as the pack milled around, their movements restless and predatory. Their glowing eyes seemed to pierce through the cabin walls. It was unlike anything he'd ever experienced. For what felt like hours, the wolves lingered, howling into the frozen wilderness before finally retreating into the trees. Glenn shared this harrowing experience later on the Joe Rogan Experience, where he described it in vivid detail. He explained how the encounter shook his long-held beliefs about wolves. They weren't just timid scavengers. They were intelligent, powerful, and far bolder than he ever imagined. He admitted that in those moments, as he sprinted for his life, he felt something primal, an understanding that in the wild, humans aren't always at the top of the food chain. Glenn's encounter proved how untamed wolves truly are, but some still believe they can be domesticated. Born to be wild. The idea of having a wolf as a pet might sound fascinating. After all, wolves and dogs are technically the same species, able to interbreed and share many similarities. But while the allure of owning a wolf might captivate some, the reality is far from what most people imagine. Wolves aren't just wild versions of dogs. They are fundamentally different in behavior and instincts, making them unsuitable for life as household pets. To understand why, we need to delve into the concept of pedomorphosis and how it explains the unique nature of our furry companions compared to their untamed cousins. When you think of a wolf, you might picture a majestic creature roaming the wilderness, fierce and untamed. But like dogs, wolves start life as playful, curious puppies. In their early months, wolves are much like any other young mammal. They wrestle, explore, and learn about their surroundings. Play is essential for wolf pups. It helps them understand the world, practice survival skills, and form bonds with their pack. During this stage, a wolf puppy might not seem all that different from a Labrador or a Golden Retriever. However, as wolves grow, something crucial happens. They undergo a transition into adulthood. This change isn't just physical, it's deeply rooted in their instincts. Adult wolves become focused on maintaining pack order, establishing dominance, and surviving in a challenging environment. In a wolf pack, there's a clear hierarchy, often led by an alpha. Every member of the pack has a role, and they constantly work to secure their position. This instinct for dominance and survival is embedded in a wolf's DNA and cannot be turned off. Here's where the difference lies between wolves and our pet dogs. Dogs have undergone a process called pedomorphosis. This term refers to a genetic mutation that essentially freezes their behavior in a juvenile state. Over thousands of years of domestication, humans selectively bred dogs for traits that made them more docile, playful, and eager to bond with people. By favoring dogs that were friendly and cooperative, humans inadvertently selected for pedomorphosis, keeping dogs mentally childlike throughout their lives. What does this mean for your furry friend? It means that even as they grow older, dogs retain puppy-like qualities. They stay curious, playful, and eager to please. A 10-year-old dog will still wag its tail with excitement when you ask if it wants to go for a walk. It doesn't feel the need to assert dominance or compete for leadership in the way an adult wolf does. This permanent puppy-like behavior is why dogs are such fantastic companions. They view their human family as their pack, with you naturally assuming the role of leader without much conflict. Now imagine trying to raise a wolf. As a puppy, a wolf might be affectionate and playful, much like a dog. You might even bond deeply with it, thinking it's no different from raising a husky or a German shepherd. But as the wolf matures, everything changes. Its instincts take over, and it begins to behave like a true adult wolf. It will start challenging authority, testing boundaries, and asserting dominance. This isn't because it doesn't love you, it's simply how wolves are wired. For a wolf, leadership and survival are non-negotiable, and it can't suppress those instincts, even in a domestic setting. The resulting power struggle can become dangerous. Unlike dogs, which are bred to be cooperative and submissive, wolves don't naturally see humans as leaders. Even if a wolf does respect you temporarily, the moment it senses weakness, whether you're sick, injured, or distracted, it may try to assert itself as the new leader of the pack. This behavior is not something you can train out of a wolf. It's a core part of its nature. Interestingly, this concept of pedomorphosis isn't limited to dogs. Scientists have observed similar changes in other animals through selective breeding. A famous experiment in Russia involved foxes raised on fur farms. Researchers selectively bred the calmest, most docile foxes over several generations. After a decade, they produced foxes that wagged their tails, played with humans, and displayed puppy-like behaviors. These foxes had undergone pedomorphosis, showing how domestication can fundamentally alter an animal's instincts and behavior. Humans, too, may have undergone a form of pedomorphosis. Anthropologists believe that over thousands of years, we've bred ourselves to favor traits like curiosity, creativity, and cooperation. Unlike many other animals, humans retain a playful, exploratory nature well into adulthood. This constant drive to learn and create has helped us become the innovative species we are today. Think about it. Even as adults, we enjoy games, hobbies, and discovering new things, traits that mirror the permanent puppy-like behavior seen in dogs. But wolves are a different story. They are not domesticated and don't share the same genetic mutations that keep dogs mentally young. So, why shouldn't you have a wolf as a pet? Put simply, it's because a wolf is not just a big, exotic dog. It's a wild animal with instincts and behaviors that cannot be tamed. Despite the clear challenges of keeping a wolf as a pet, many still try, often with heartbreaking consequences. Inside wolf sanctuaries. In the United States, it's estimated that between 250,000 and 500,000 wolves and wolf-dog hybrids are kept as pets. Tragically, a significant number of these animals face early mortality due to abuse, neglect, or owners' inability to manage their wild instincts. Studies suggest that over 75% of these animals die before reaching their first birthday. Wolves, by their very nature, are wild animals with instincts and behaviors that are not suited to domestic life. They require vast territories, ranging from 25 to 40 square kilometers, to roam and exercise. Confining them to typical household spaces can lead to stress, destructive behaviors, and potential aggression. Owners often find themselves unprepared for the challenges of housing a wild animal. Wolves and wolf dogs can become destructive, causing significant damage to property. Their natural behaviors, such as digging, chewing, and marking territory, can result in shredded furniture, destroyed gardens, and compromised structures. Faced with these challenges, many owners surrender their animals to sanctuaries. However, these sanctuaries are often overwhelmed. Some receive over 100 requests annually to take in wolves and wolf dogs. Unfortunately, due to limited resources and space, they cannot accommodate all these animals. Moreover, wolves raised in captivity lack the necessary survival skills to be released into the wild. They haven't learned to hunt or navigate natural terrains, making their survival in the wild improbable. As a result, they spend their lives in enclosures, which, despite being designed for their well-being, cannot replicate the vast territories they instinctively crave. In episode 92 of the Joe Rogan Experience MMA show, host Joe Rogan and guest Angela Hill discussed the conditions of wolf sanctuaries. Rogan expressed concern about the often depressing environments these animals endure, highlighting the challenges sanctuaries face in providing adequate space and care. He emphasized the unnaturalness of keeping such majestic creatures in confined spaces, pointing out that even with the best intentions, sanctuaries cannot fully meet the needs of these wild animals. The situation underscores a broader issue: the human desire to domesticate and possess wild animals without fully understanding or accommodating their needs. While the allure of owning a wolf or wolf dog might stem from admiration, it's crucial to recognize the ethical and practical implications. These animals are not domesticated pets. They have complex social structures, dietary needs, and behaviors that are incompatible with domestic life. The challenges faced by sanctuaries highlight the need for stricter regulations and public education. Sadly, the legal landscape surrounding the ownership of wolves and wolf dogs varies across the United States. Some states have outright bans on private possession of these animals, recognizing the challenges and potential dangers involved. Others have partial bans or specific regulations, while a few states have no specific laws, leaving room for private ownership. This patchwork of regulations can lead to confusion among potential owners and inconsistencies in the treatment and welfare of these animals. While some struggle to keep wolves in captivity, others have faced the terrifying reality of what happens when wolves band together in the wild, on a scale rarely seen before. The rise of the super pack. In the harsh winter of 2010 to 2011, the remote Russian town of Verkhoyansk faced an unprecedented threat. A massive pack of approximately 400 wolves descended upon the area, leaving the community in a state of alarm. This event, often referred to as the emergence of a super pack, stands as a rare and alarming instance of wolf behavior. Verkhoyansk, located in the Sakha Republic, is known for its extreme cold, with temperatures plunging to -49 degrees Celsius during that winter. The town, home to about 1,300 residents, holds the Guinness World Record for the greatest temperature range on Earth, experiencing both warm summers and brutally cold winters. The severe cold that year likely led to a scarcity of the wolves' natural prey, such as hares, rabbits, and deer, forcing them to seek alternative food sources. This shortage is believed to have driven the wolves toward human settlements in search of sustenance. Over a span of just 4 days, the wolves killed more than 30 horses, causing significant concern among the townspeople. In response, local authorities organized 24 teams of armed hunters to patrol the area on snowmobiles, aiming to protect the community and its livestock. The government also offered financial incentives, paying £210 for each wolfskin to encourage the reduction of the wolf population. Despite these efforts, only a few wolves were successfully culled, highlighting the challenges posed by such a large and coordinated group of predators. This behavior underscores the adaptability of wolves in the face of environmental pressures. While no human attacks were reported during this period, the presence of such a large number of wolves so close to human habitation was unsettling. Wolves generally avoid humans, and such bold behavior indicates the severity of their desperation. The wolves of Verkhoyansk were not just a desperate anomaly. They were a striking example of an ancient resilience that has defined their species for millennia. Now it's time for today's subscriber pick. The forest was deathly silent under the pale moonlight. A monstrous stag, its antlers like jagged crowns, stood defiantly at the edge of the clearing. Its breath came in heavy bursts, plumes of mist curling into the icy night air. Surrounding it, a pack of wolves, sleek, silver, and hungry, moved as one, their golden eyes glinting with primal determination. This wolf pack is killing everything in their way, and tonight was no exception. The alpha, a massive beast with a scar slashing across one eye, led the charge. His growl, low and guttural, was the signal. The wolves darted in and out, snapping at the stag's legs, their movements precise and lethal. The stag lunged, its hooves a blur of deadly force, but the wolves anticipated every strike. The youngest of the pack, a lithe female, lunged for the throat. She met her mark, but not without cost. A hind leg caught her ribs, sending her tumbling. Her yelp fueled the other's frenzy. Moments later, it was over. The stag collapsed with a final bellow, the ground trembling beneath its weight. The pack howled triumphantly, their song echoing through the night, a sound that sent chills down the spines of everything within miles. Wolves have always been relentless hunters, but their true power lies in something far greater: their ability to adapt, survive, and reshape the wild in ways few creatures can. The unyielding survivors. Wolves are one of nature's most adaptable creatures, a testament to survival across thousands of years. From the frozen tundras of the Arctic to the forests and plains of North America, they have evolved to thrive in diverse environments. This adaptability has allowed them to endure significant challenges, including changing climates, disappearing prey, and human expansion. Their story begins during the Pleistocene epoch, over 2 million years ago. Back then, wolves roamed vast regions, including Beringia, the ancient land bridge between Asia and North America. They hunted large animals such as mammoths, horses, and bison, using their strong jaws and sharp teeth to take down these formidable prey. But when the Ice Age ended, and many of these animals went extinct, wolves faced a pivotal challenge. Instead of vanishing with their prey, they adapted by shifting their diet to smaller animals like deer and rabbits, proving their resilience against nature's unpredictability. Wolves possess remarkable physical traits that have helped them adapt to a wide variety of habitats. Their fur, for example, changes depending on the environment. In Arctic regions, their coats are white, blending seamlessly into snowy landscapes, while wolves in forests or grasslands sport shades of gray and brown, providing camouflage for stalking prey. Their large paws, equipped with thick pads and claws, allow them to navigate icy terrains, dense forests, and rocky landscapes with ease. Additionally, wolves in colder regions tend to have stockier bodies and shorter legs to conserve heat, whereas those in warmer areas are leaner with longer limbs, aiding in cooling their bodies. Beyond their physical attributes, wolves exhibit behaviors that highlight their adaptability. Their pack dynamics are a prime example. Wolves are social animals, living and hunting in packs where every member has a role. This cooperation enables them to hunt prey much larger than themselves, such as elk or moose. The pack's communication is highly sophisticated, with howling being one of their most iconic behaviors. Each wolf has a unique howl, allowing individuals to recognize one another over long distances, warn intruders, or regroup after a hunt. Such communication is vital for survival in the wild. Their diet is another area where wolves demonstrate their adaptability. While they prefer hunting large animals, they can survive on smaller mammals, birds, fish, and even carrion when food is scarce. This opportunistic feeding behavior ensures that wolves endure even in times of famine. In some regions, they've been observed scavenging from human waste or livestock, highlighting their ability to exploit any available resources. Wolves are not just survivors, but essential contributors to the ecosystems they inhabit. As apex predators, they play a critical role in maintaining ecological balance. By preying on herbivores like elk and deer, they prevent overgrazing, allowing vegetation to thrive. This has cascading effects on entire ecosystems. For example, in areas like Yellowstone National Park, the reintroduction of wolves led to the recovery of willow and aspen populations, which supported the return of birds and beavers. The presence of wolves, therefore, ensures that ecosystems remain diverse and vibrant. However, the modern world poses significant challenges to wolves. Habitat loss due to urbanization and agriculture has forced them into smaller territories, increasing conflicts with humans. Climate change also affects their prey availability and the environments they depend on. Despite these challenges, wolves continue to demonstrate remarkable resilience. In regions where they were once eradicated, reintroduction programs have allowed them to reclaim lost territories. They've adapted to coexist with humans by altering their behaviors, such as hunting at night to avoid encounters. A remarkable return. In a remarkable turn of events, gray wolves have made a significant return to Northern California, a region they once roamed freely before disappearing in the 1920s. Recent observations have confirmed the presence of 2 new wolf packs, signaling a hopeful resurgence of this iconic species in the state's diverse ecosystems. The first of these packs, currently unnamed, comprises 4 individuals, including 2 pups. Their presence was initially detected through camera traps installed near a well-known national park in Northern California. Subsequent monitoring by wildlife biologists has provided further evidence of the pack's establishment in the area. Although the wolves have not yet ventured into the park itself, experts believe that its expansive wilderness, spanning approximately 165 square miles across multiple counties, offers an ideal habitat for them. It is anticipated that the pack may eventually utilize parts of the park as their territory. The second group, referred to as the Diamond Pack, consists of 2 adult wolves and was observed about 50 miles north of a prominent lake in the region. Biologists have been monitoring this pair since the previous year, awaiting sufficient evidence to officially designate them as a pack. According to established criteria, a group can be recognized as a pack if there are confirmed sightings of 2 or more wolves in a specific area over a 6-month period. The Diamond Pack has met these requirements, although they have not yet produced offspring. Historically, gray wolves were native to California and thrived from the mid-1800s to the early 1900s. However, due to extensive hunting and habitat encroachment by humans, The species was extirpated from the state by the 1920s. The unexpected return of a lone wolf from Oregon into California in 2011 marked the beginning of the species' gradual comeback in the region. As of now, there are 9 confirmed wolf packs in California, with 3 new packs identified this year alone. These packs have established territories ranging from the northern reaches of the Sierra Nevada to areas further north into Siskiyou County. Experts note that there may be additional individual wolves that have dispersed from known packs or neighboring states, indicating a broader distribution than currently documented. The recent confirmation of the unnamed pack near the national park is particularly noteworthy. Alongside the discovery of the diamond pack, it underscores the ongoing expansion of California's wolf population, both in terms of numbers and geographic range. While the resurgence of gray wolves is a positive sign for biodiversity and ecosystem health, it has elicited mixed reactions from local communities. Ranchers, in particular, have expressed concerns over potential livestock losses due to wolf predation. Some have reported incidents where calves were killed by wolves venturing onto their properties, leading to feelings of helplessness given the legal protections in place for the species. Gray wolves are safeguarded under both state and federal endangered species laws, making it illegal to harm or kill them. Since 2017, wildlife agencies have advocated for the use of non-lethal deterrents to minimize conflicts between wolves and livestock. These measures include employing range riders to monitor and manage livestock, installing turbofladry, a type of electrified fencing, and utilizing devices that emit lights or sounds to discourage wolves from approaching. It's important to note that gray wolves generally avoid human interaction and rarely pose a direct threat to human safety. Nonetheless, wildlife officials encourage individuals to exercise caution and adopt responsible practices when recreating in areas where large predators may be present. Ongoing monitoring efforts are crucial to understanding the dynamics of these newly established packs. Wildlife biologists plan to continue using camera traps and conducting ground surveys to gather more information about the wolves' movements, pack composition, and overall health. This data will inform future conservation strategies and help address the challenges associated with the species' return. With the return of these majestic predators reshaping California's wild landscapes, the question remains: can humans and wolves truly find a way to coexist in harmony? Or will this delicate balance tip under the weight of conflict?